right, we got anything? Or are you guys talking about something over there to figure it out? Yeah, go ahead.
It's from the old between generalization and stereotype. Is generalization is like not negative, stereotype negative?
No, it's more than that. There are two criteria, both of which are somewhat overlapped. But a generalization is sort of a broad, or word I'm trying to avoid, general sort of claim, that has two criteria. What are the two criteria? People remember? No? Oh, yes. Oh, you guys dig through the notes. This is off of PowerPoint. In the, what did I talk? Oh, I talked about it in the race section.
I had one before that you said generalization was accurate, fair, describing, and used well. Stereotype was inaccurate and used unfair for generalization.
Right. And that can be too picky in terms of like what the difference between fair. It actually comes down to fairly used in sort of an accurate portrayal. Does that make sense? Versus in your stereotype, a stereotype is a general statement that is either one or the other or both unfair or inaccurate. Make sense? Generalization. Well, generalization is fair and accurate. It's almost like Fox News. It's fair and balanced or whatever, allegedly or whatever anyway, versus unfair and inaccurate. Any one of them. Doesn't have to be both. Unfair and inaccurate. Yeah. On that one, if I don't ask for an example, you generally don't have to. I mean, we get sort of like in test time, we get very legalistic in terms of I ask for that. If I can't ask, you know what I mean? And I honestly took the info for second exam, but it's been so long since I've cleaned my offices for fall semester. What's the phrase? Will you tell me the question again?
According to Morrissey, what is the difference between generalization and stereotype?
Yeah, you don't need to do an example, right? So let's do an example now, just so it makes sense what I'm talking about. Because if it makes sense, it's easier to remember rather than just memorization. Okay? So let's think about it. Let's think about a generalization versus a stereotype on what subject do we want to do? Political parties. Okay? Which political party do we want to make a general statement about? Go either way. Democrats, okay? So we could describe Democrats as generally, we could say, what do we want to say? What's the stereotype about Democrats? Stereotype or generalization? Either one.
Stereotype is you have socialist.
Okay. So now notice a couple of things there, right? They're all socialists. First of all, it's inaccurate in its portrayal of Democrats, because if you ask some Democrats, all is a problem, like a red flag for stereotype, right? Because it's going to necessarily, or almost always necessarily going to be like, really? All of them? Right? It's easy to knock down. Say, there are probably some Democrats who are not socialists. There's, they're communists. No, just kidding. Just kidding. Now, so that all part is that it's an inaccurate claim, right? There's some Democrats who are like, oh, I'm a capitalist. I just think, blah, 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 whatever they think about capitalism. So that's how it can be inaccurate. The generalization generally avoids all and is more nuanced in terms of the breadth of its claim, how broad of a claim. You might say a generalization. Some Democrats could be called socialists. Is a fair generalization, right? How many? What percentage? I don't really know. Honestly, probably not too many, but then it depends who you're asking, right? Tea Party members would say, 98%, and whoever, I don't know, right? Just depending on perspective. That's a more accurate for sure. Some, just the usual stuff. Fair is a slightly different criteria. Again, you don't need to go into all this detail because I didn't do a good job of presenting what fair and inaccurate are. But fair is how you use information, right? So, we've been talking about Democrats and even the fair generalization The accurate generalization is some might be socialist, right? So you meet somebody, you figure out they're a Democrat. Fairness is to not assume that they're socialist, even if you know, that you can use information, a generalization, unfairly, right? Does that make sense? So, just because people have some decent knowledge about like what's a fair generalization about what is it like to be a male or a female in today's society, you could use that in annoying ways if I assume that you've experienced this or whatever. People get annoyed about that, right? Right? Whatever that might be. About Dutch identity or something. We have ideas about fair generalizations. But then just because I'm Dutch, I'm not like this is what people say. And they're pointing out that don't stereotype me as a verb. Does that make sense? That being said, that's what fair and accurate is about. You just need to say fair and accurate. It's really, that one is sort of like a two-pointer. You know what I mean? Well, actually, it's like well, you got how would I do the points? Did I do it? Okay, so it would be something like, no example points, but actually, sorry, I'm a little tired of basketball. We'll play 2 of basketball. Not as clear as I should be. You need to sort of define generalization, stereotype, and then sort of the fair and accurate stuff would be like the 2 points for each, all together, 4 altogether, something like that. That's probably how I think about that. Make sense? If you get fair, not accurate, or whatever it is, you lose like half points. Yeah? Follow me?
We're defining generalization and stereotype and then defining accurate and fair as well?
No, you're not defining accurate and fair. You're just saying you're defining generalization, stereotype are italicized, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, good. Sorry.
Oh, I get it. The difference.
Right? You tell me the difference, and then tell me what they are, and then tell me what the difference is, right? Okay. Oh, listening to would have been painful. Okay.
Number 15.
Okay, read it out loud for me since I didn't.
What's the difference between an objectivist approach to social problems and a subjective or constructionist one?
Yeah.
I remember talking